Hey everyone, it's Friday night and it's 10 p.m. and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Welcome back to the Dead Frequencies, where ghost stories and strange encounters echo from the other side of the signal. And I'm your host tonight, Matty James. When I first moved into this house, I honestly thought the universe was finally giving me a break. The street was quiet, the neighbors were friendly enough, and directly across from the front window sat the most picture-perfect playground you ever have seen. On bright mornings, the sunlight would hit the red and blue equipment, making the whole place glow like a postcard from a simpler time. The air smelled like fresh-cut grass. Birds perched along the monkey bars. Children's laughter rose and fell like waves, bright, innocent, and constant. It gave the whole neighborhood a heartbeat, a sense of safety, routine, and ordinary life. But all of that shattered on a cloudy gray morning in early fall. I remember hearing the sirens, first faint, then suddenly loud enough to rattle my windows. Police cars swarmed the street, doors slamming, officers rushing in tight clip movements. When the yellow tape went up, I stepped onto my porch, and that's when I saw him. A young boy, no older than 10. He'd hung himself from the top set of monkey bars, and now was being taken away on a gurney. Even from across the street, a chill crawled up my spine. The police whispered the word accident, but everything about the scene felt wrong. Kids don't climb that high alone. Kids don't tie precise, clean knots like the one around his neck. And children don't go completely unnoticed until they're already gone. From that day, the playground changed. It wasn't obvious at first, just a shift in the air, like the color drained slightly. You know the way photographs fade. But once the kids stopped coming, the place seemed to exhale something rotten. The swings began to snap, mid-motion. Not fray, not break. Snap, as if cut by something unseen. Slides became hot, they burned the children's skin, even under heavy clouds. The wooden climbing frame collapsed one afternoon, every bolt unscrewed halfway, as if by careful, deliberate hands. Parents took notice. The whispers became hard to ignore. They then stopped bringing their children entirely. And when the laughter disappeared, something darker crept in to replace it. The junkies came next. They slouched beneath the swings, hunched over, their bodies limp and ghost-like. Needles glinted in the sandbox like sharp, poisonous fangs. Blackened spoons littered the wood chips. Empty eyes stared from inside old play tubes at anyone passing by. The whole place rotted from the inside, becoming a nesting ground for things both human and not. Eventually, after enough complaints, the neighborhood tore it all down. Every bolt, every board, every memory. The ground was scraped flat until nothing was left but bare earth. They fenced the park with metal chain links and padlocked the gate like they were burying a disease. But even after everything was gone, the strangest thing remained. Every single morning, without fail, a thick fog now settles over the empty lot. Not mist drifting through the neighborhood, not morning dew lifting from the grass, but a dense, swirling, milk-white fog that clings only to that field. Nowhere else. Not the sidewalks, not the houses, not the yards, just that space, the exact footprint where the playground once stood. It sits there like something sleeping, breathing, dreaming. And then that activity crossed over into my house. It started small. One night around 3 a.m., I woke to the sound of footsteps running through my hallway. Light steps, fast, barefoot, like a small child playing a midnight game. The sound moved from room to room, circling, looping, never slowing. When I got out of bed to investigate, the footsteps stopped, instantly, like someone had slammed down a mute button. The next morning, toys appeared in my living room. Not mine, not modern. Old wooden blocks with chipped paint. Maybe a tarnished toy car missing a wheel. A small faded rubber ball that looked like it hadn't been played with for decades. And then came the night the red ball rolled out of my kitchen. No breeze, no slant in the floor, no one else in the house. Just the soft sound of plastic turning on tile, rolling slowly, rolling deliberately until it stopped at my feet. And that was when the house turned violent. Lights flickered in sharp bursts, almost rhythmic, like coded messages. Shadows moved along the walls where no shadows should be. Whispers slithered out of corners, too soft to understand, but too loud to ignore. And then the worst moment happened. My cat, my sweet, calm cat, was pushed from the second floor landing. Not fell, not slipped, pushed. His body crashed through the glass table with a sound like exploding ice. Glass shattered everywhere. He survived, but barely. From that moment forward, the house felt undeniably hostile. Objects began disappearing for days at a time. Keys, socks, utensils, small things, but they always returned in intentional places. The center of my desk, the middle of the stairs, lined up perfectly along the hallway floor, like breadcrumbs. Something tugged at the bottom of my shorts as I walked through the dark rooms. Something pulled hard on my blankets, dragging them off the bed. More than once I walked into a wall of cold pressure. Something invisible, physically stopping me from walking down my own hallway, like a living barrier. When I turned my ghost equipment on, it went insane. Meters spiked so violently that the needle slammed the ends. Alarms screeched in overlapping tones. Readings showed 5, 6, sometimes 7 spirits moving through the house at once. A whole crowd of the unseen. But nothing prepared me for the night. He came. I woke to the sensation of a weight pressed into the edge of my mattress. Not a gentle shift of a pet, but the deep, sinking pressure of something heavy, something tall. When I opened my eyes, he was leaning over me, a massive shadow figure, towering, broad-shouldered, bending so close his form blotted out the ceiling. Not a shape, not a silhouette. A void, a living absence of light, thick and dense enough to have weight, volume, and presence. No face, no eyes, just the overwhelming sense that it was watching me, studying me, deciding something about me. I couldn't breathe. My chest felt crushed under these invisible hands. The temperature in the room plummeted until my breath fogged the air. I don't know how I found the strength, but I ended up shouting, voice crackling, shaking, terrified. "Leave us alone, you are not wanted here." This had worked before. And the shadow recoiled, like smoke sucked backward by some unseen force, folding in on itself, collapsing, and then vanishing into nothing. And just like that, everything stopped. The footsteps, the lights, the whispers, that pressure in the hallway, the tugs, the pulls, the cold spots. Even the fog across the street faded away for a while, thinning each morning until the lot looked almost normal again. For the first time in years, my house felt empty. Quiet, still, almost peaceful. But peace never lasts long. Because recently, when I started writing about my ghost experiences again, when I began telling the story, some things returned. The fog rolled back into the field thicker than ever, swirling like it's watching. Some footsteps came back, pattering through my hallway at 3 a.m. Lights flicker in that same slow rhythm. 3 pulses, pause, 3 pulses. Like a heartbeat. Like a warning. And at night, when the house goes dark, I sometimes feel that heavy pressure on the edge of my mattress again. Not sitting, not leaning. Waiting. As if the moment I began writing their story, they woke up. As if the moment I remembered them, they remembered me. And now they're listening. Always listening. Thanks for listening to The Dead Frequencies. The static between stations might sound empty, but sometimes it's anything but. We drop another story next Friday at 10 p.m. You should be there too. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Just tap the icons listed below.